And things are getting pretty chippy between President Trump and Mike Bloomberg on the campaign trail. Trump tweeted this: Mini Mike is a 5'4" mass of dead energy who does not want to be on the debate stage with these professional politicians. No boxes, please. He hates crazy Bernie and will, with enough money, possibly stop him. Bernie's people will go nuts. Then Bloomberg responded with this, quote, we know many of the same people in New York. Behind your back, they laugh at you and call you a carnival barking clown. They know you inherited a fortune and squandered it with stupid deals and incompetence. I have the record and the resources to defeat you, and I will. Let's bring in tonight's political panel. First, we have former Marine Gunnery Sergeant Jessie Jane Duff. She's an advisory board co-chair of Veterans for Trump and also an advisory board member for Women's for Trump. We also have Democratic strategist Spencer Critchley with us as well. Spencer, welcome to the program. Jessie, great to see you as well.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you.
I want to talk about this dynamic a little bit between President Trump and Mike Bloomberg in the tweets there. Jessie Jane, you know, Mike Bloomberg willing to go toe-to-toe with President Trump on social media, use some of these same kind of biting tactics. Do you think it will work for him?
No, I don't, because most people in America have never really understood Mike Bloomberg on the political platform outside of New York City. So he doesn't have the right range of appeal that President Trump currently has. The poll numbers for President Trump show that he is winning, his low unemployment, his tax breaks, and Mayor Bloomberg is everything the opposite of what President Trump has put into place. That has been a success for this country. And as we have noted in some of the notes that were sent to me by the producer, he's going to have to account for a lot of the stop and frisk policies that had a lot of discriminatory, perceived discriminatory arrests.
Because that story has gone away pretty quickly. Let's talk about the African-American support now. It's coming out for former New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg, and it seems they're coming from former Vice President Joe Biden, some of these new endorsements, at least when you look at the poll numbers. Former Vice President Joe Biden is at 27%. Former New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg is at 22%. Bernie Sanders hasn't really risen much, even though he's done very well in the last two contests. Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg, who is desperately seeking some love from minority voters in this race. But Spencer, when you look at Mike Bloomberg's growing support with African Americans, is it just the fact that he looks to be the guy now with the money and the resources to beat Donald Trump that these folks are willing to forget about all this stop and frisk stuff?
I think Mike Bloomberg is just so fascinating when you put him up against Trump. You know, Bloomberg is the real version of what Trump has pretended to be his entire life. Bloomberg actually is a self-made, very successful person, and Trump is the TV character version of that. The reality is sadly different, as Mike very effectively pointed out in that response there, I think. It's also revealing that Trump has now turned his attention to Bloomberg after getting himself impeached, trying to stop Biden. And then Biden comes in fourth and then fifth in the first two primaries. And now what a lot of trouble for perhaps wasted time. Also, it's revealing to look at this, you know, Bloomberg on a box thing. This is just a plain, blatant lie that Trump made up along with so many others.
Look, I don't want to get too much into this, like the physical nature, but it would be somewhere a tough dynamic. You can think back to Richard Nixon and John Kennedy, the dynamic of Nixon sweating on TV when Kennedy looked great. I mean, Mike Bloomberg at 5'4", Donald Trump at 6'4" or 6'5", that's not a great visual. And Donald Trump is obviously, you know, if Mike Bloomberg's going to call him a carnival barker, Donald Trump is, you know, going to make fun of Mike Bloomberg's height, and that's what it's going to be. You know, do you think they're actually going to talk about policy at all if these two are going to debate, Jessie?
I would expect so.
Let's let Jessie in here, Spencer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
No, actually, I don't expect that Mike Bloomberg's going to make a dent in this because he's dealing with the master of flipping the stage on somebody. If you want to criticize President Trump, he's got twice as much ammo to go back at you. And New York City is not known as what the rest of America wants to look like. And that's all he has on his resume is New York City. You know, and when you look at this, whether you want to call Donald Trump a caricature or not, Donald Trump's a success with the nation and international policy. So the past of President Trump is not what's up going on. We're talking about the present. And he's had 3.5 years of economic prosperity for African Americans, and Bloomberg can't say that.
That's what I was going to say to your point, Spencer, about Michael Bloomberg supposedly being the real deal of Donald Trump. I mean, okay, you make that argument, but then, you know, we've got 3 years of video of Donald Trump on the world stage, Donald Trump doing things with NATO and with world leaders. Those are the images that are going to be up against. It's going to be Mike Bloomberg talking about New York City and stop and frisk, and it's going to be Donald Trump showing his economic record, his record on the world stage. That's going to be the contrast.
Donald Trump's record on the world stage is humiliating for this country. You can just watch the worldwide reputation of the United States and how it's plummeted since he took office. His economic record, a lot of people accept this assertion that the economy is booming because of Donald Trump. He's actually slowed it down since inheriting it from Barack Obama. This is like an 11-year recovery.
But Spencer, why do 70% of Americans in this Gallup poll think that they're better off than they were 3 years ago?
The economy has been improving for 11 years. They are better off. There's lots of progress still to be made, but they are better off. But job growth has slowed down. Debt creation has skyrocketed under Trump. He's just slowed things down. The manufacturing recovery that he promised has never shown up.
We have to end it there, unfortunately. But Spencer, I wonder why, if that's really the case, why Democrats are so focused on impeachment if they had that argument to make about the economy.
Constitutional duty. 2 words.
Well,
I gotta veteran unemployment's at a record low, 2.5%. The economy is at a record high. And if Donald Trump was a failure, he would have. Let me. It doesn't matter. 3 years.
Let her finish.
Let me finish. Don't cut me off. No, if he would have ruined the economy, and he has propelled it into a success. 7.2 million jobs. I don't care who the president would be. Anybody would want to have that on their badge of honor. And you're trying to say that's Obama?
Yeah,
Obama's not on the ticket. And President Trump has caused it to increase.
We got to cut it off there, guys.
Inheriting and squandering wealth. That's
well, we'll have more opportunity to debate the economic record of Donald Trump with Spencer and Jessie Jane on another day, but we'll have to cut it off there. Great to see you both.